Coming up on Network Africa, emergency services in Lagos, Nigeria cleared the debris from over 50 vehicles which got burnt on the Otedola Bridge. Libyan militia leader Khalifa Haftar says that his forces now fully control the coastal city of Dinar. And Madagascar's Prime Minister Christian Ntse announces that presidential elections will be held on November 7th this year. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Temitope Fagbemi. We begin here in Nigeria, where rescue officials have been clearing the debris from burnt vehicles around the Otedola Bridge axis of Lagos metropolis the day after at least 9 people died and others were injured in a massive fire. Now the road has been opened to traffic. At least 54 cars were burnt after a tanker loaded with petrol exploded just after the bridge along the Berger area of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
It's the day after the inferno. Sadness and horror is still written on the faces of onlookers. Rescue officials are hard at work evacuating the burned vehicles at Otedola along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Firefighters are still putting out the remains of the blaze. The result is heavy gridlock, commuters trying to get to work. The casualty figures have not changed.
The casualty figure remains 9. Those who are wounded remain 4. Visionscape is there to clean up the whole of this area, and then we will declare this operation totally closed, and then we will allow the police to do the investigation, which I'm sure they've been taking notes.
Rescue workers agree that more must be done to prevent incidents like this from happening in the future.
We will be more careful next time. We'll also be more proactive.
The road is finally open to traffic. Emergency workers are appealing to drivers of articulated vehicles to exercise more caution. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
So let's get more on the story from a security expert, Mr. Oladende Ario. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon.
While reporting on the fire, the BBC says the accident is a scene that many Nigerians are very familiar with and that it's likely not to be the last accident unless something drastic is done. What does this say about Nigeria's safety standard?
Well, in the books, we have the safety standards, the rules and regulations stated and written. But here, they're observed only in the bridge. More importantly, most of our roads are not vehicle-worthy. In the last 24 hours, between the toll gates, the scene of this accident, and the last 30 minutes, we've had 3 other accidents. A 40-footer container dropped on Kara Bridge yesterday in the morning, and about 30 minutes ago, a truck carrying some brand of vehicles fell on the same road. So it only shows that as far as rules are concerned, they are not observed.
Now, a lot of analysts say efforts must be made to improve driver skills and the condition of the tankers that they drive. Is that really the solution to this incessant accident?
We're talking of drivers, majority of whom are illiterate. They're not educated, they're not lettered. So how do you now train somebody who was never properly trained in the first place? That would be building something or nothing. Secondly, virtually all the vehicles, about 90% of the trailers and on the roads are discarded vehicles that have been written off in Europe and America that we now go there to buy, bring here, combine with our haphazard maintenance culture, overload them, and put them on the same roads that I earlier told you are not vehicle worthy. So it's still not yet to rule for us regarding that. There is little you can do about that. And these are drivers who at every point where they stop, they have wives, they relax, they drink alcohol, yet they hit the road. And we suppose there will be checks on them on the way, but who does that?
So how can we stop this? How can we curb these accidents?
For us as a nation to do that, we have to begin from level 0, begin to recruit and begin to train new drivers who will handle trucks. One, number two, we should do away. We should begin to think of moving trucks, including flammables, to the rail. I grew up in Nigeria where rails were moving petrol and all sorts of things up north. So we should go back to that age. Most countries in the world don't even allow trucks to move during daytime. They move in the nighttime. But here, despite the fact that Lagos has virtually all the functional ports in Nigeria, that's why you see so many trailers and trucks becoming a big headache for us here. So that has to also come in. They should be ordered to move only in the night, not during the daytime.
Now, you've seen images of the fire and the large numbers of vehicles that got burnt in that accident. Sadly, 9 people also died in the fire. How would you assess the conduct of our first responders after the explosion?
Well, I'll tell you, because I was live on the spot when it happened. I practically went there to see what was happening. LASFEMA, LRU, FRC, virtually all the agencies, they were very, very timely. Less than 10-15 minutes after the thing started, they started arriving. And they have all the equipment needed. Unfortunately, the nature of petrol explosion and inflammation handicapped them. And of course, there's a little or lot you can do in the bridge area. There was no space really for them to do, but they still did a lot more than, I'll give them a good pass mark. They did well.
Finally, this has been a particularly bloody week in Nigeria with the killings in Plateau State and then now this tanker fire. What would you say about the government's response at the federal, at the state level to all these tragedies?
Well, you just mentioned 2 killings now. I will add a third one. The Plateau killing, for me, is an indictment on our intelligence gathering mechanism. They ought to have been able to detect the planning. And at that point, been able to nip it in the bud. But they failed to that extent because the crowd that was required to undertake that level of carnage was massive. Not 10, 20 people, about hundreds. Yes, they were able to mass somewhere and move armed to the venue of the crime. That, for me, is a no-no for security. They didn't do well on that score. Unfortunately, concerning the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, it's a road that has largely remained uncompleted year in, year out. Begin to wonder why it's taking like forever to finish that road. Okay, like I told you, we've had 3 other accidents again in the same axis in the last 24 hours. My own friend, Okuniyana, just built an hotel somewhere in Moweda, and some men just got in with guns. Asked for who owned it, and they said it was the owner of the hotel, and they shot him at very close range. So that will tell you that security in Nigeria is still very low. We still need to change the game, change the structure and the architecture, get things better, particularly in the area of detecting, planning of crime. And then, of course, when people commit crime, they should be able to apprehend them and get them punished. That's the way we can serve as deterrent. Otherwise, when they kill and get away with it, they will still come back and kill more.
Mr. Olade Ndiaye, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
My pleasure.